And it broke my heart to have to let Matt move to a group home. But I also knew in my heart that that would be the best thing for him, to get him set up and established while I'm still here, to be part of his life. When Matthew was born, we were really enjoying being parents. And then at about 6 months, he had his first seizure. That began a long search to find out what was going on and what was wrong. At about 4.5, he was diagnosed with Angelman syndrome. So our journey began. We were very, very fortunate. We had a wonderful support system of family, friends, neighbors. My husband was wonderful with Matthew. One of their favorite activities was hanging out in the hot tub. Matthew loved to relax in the hot tub, no matter whether it was winter or summer. They would, chill out and hang out together. And when my husband died in 2012, it was traumatic to Matthew and to me, because he couldn't understand why his father wasn't around with him and why he wasn't there to participate in all of his activities. It was like, I know that I had to be strong for Matthew because I was all he had. I tried to carry on as much as possible with the routine that we had. And at that time, I had started thinking, I'm going to have to do something for Matthew, because I'm all he's got. And if anything were to happen to me, what would happen to him? So I had to make that difficult decision to start looking for group homes. I have to thank Barbara Wasserman for that. Both of our sons attended Camp Acorn, and we would just chat while they were at, the program. And she mentioned that her son was at a Children's Aid group home. Moving Matt to a group home was probably the hardest decision that I've ever had to make in my life. So he moved to the group home. I couldn't see him for a couple of weeks, and that was difficult. But they would let me know he was doing all right. So when I was allowed to come and visit him, I was very pleased at how he seemed to have adjusted. He seemed comfortable here, and everything was fine. And I remember the staff saying, just wait. He will probably be waving goodbye to you when you leave. And surprisingly, a short while after, he did wave goodbye to me when I was here visiting, which made it a little easier, but it was still a very, very difficult transition, probably more so for him than for me, because he didn't understand why he wasn't living at home. I do spend a lot of time here to observe him. Since Matthew's nonverbal, he can't really express how he feels, so I observe him with his housemates. And I love to see them sitting down to a meal together. And they all have their own way of interacting. And it gives me a real sense of family when I see them all dining together. Last year, the staff was noticing that Matthew wasn't his normal high energy self, and they suggested that we take him to the doctors for a doctor's appointment. So we went to the doctors, and he ended up in the hospital because we weren't really sure what was wrong. So they did find out that he had cancer and needed surgery. So the staff was very, very supportive, and it was very comforting to have the staff with me, because the staff has become like family to me. I never thought about parenting a special needs child. So my whole feelings and my whole world was shattered. But through much stress, much prayer, much support, therapy. I got to the point now, and Matt is 36 years old. Matt now is in a group home, and I feel that he is pretty much set up for the rest of his life. This is an article when Matthew was published in Exceptional Parent magazine in 1998. They did a write-up on the Angelman Syndrome Foundation, and they featured Matthew, titled I Hear an Angel Speak. And there's Matthew and I with his father, and Matthew as the cute little baby that he was. And then he was featured on a calendar back in 1998, sponsored by the Angelman Syndrome Foundation, being the cute little blonde, blue-eyed boy that he was. And their bumper sticker, not all angels are in heaven. And a friend of mine even wrote a book about Matthew. And it's a very interesting book. I would be happy to share it with you. This is my friend Marie, and she wrote a book, I Am Not Broken, and dedicated it to my husband in memory of Robert Ashoff. And the one word that Matt does say is dada, whether it means daddy or dada, but that's basically the only word that he has said. And this was, Dear Dada, you did not care about all the tests, treatments, and fancy labels they gave me. You always held me in your arms, loved and accepted me just the way I was. The older and bigger I grew, the tighter you held me and the closer we became. You were my light, my joy, and my best friend. I will miss you forever. Love, your angel son.